What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Voice and Void podcast, where stories speak into silence. I'm Bishops, and today I invite you into the world of my favorite novel, Nakai the Campus Diamond. It's a story of ambition, love, and the chaos that comes with chasing dreams. So let's look at chapter 1. Your background does not determine or define your future. It only reminds you of where you've been and not where you're going. Your future is in your own hands. This was a quote I ran into during my college days as I was searching for some source of motivation. My name is Nakai, a 26-year-old banking and finance graduate from Maziwa village in Shapita district, Zimbabwe. I obtained my degree last year from the Great Midland State University, but the journey was not an easy one. This is my story. I hope other young girls can learn and benefit a lot from it. I was born into a poor family. As the last born of 3 children, all girls, my father, Mom Shadi, was a very hard-working local farmer who always did everything he could to ensure that his family was well taken care of. My mother, Rumbizai Mshavi, was also very hardworking in her own way, though she was more into potato farming and selling. It was through these handiworks that my parents were able to look after us, and as well as ensure that we were all able to go to school. We may not have been one of those rich families, neither did my father have any fancy job, but the little we got daily was enough. Like my father always said, always be grateful for the little things that you have, because you never know how tomorrow will be. Sadly, my father passed away when I was only 10 years old as a result of a short illness. His death would mark the beginning of what I would call hell on earth for our family. My father's relatives blamed my mom for my father's death, and even went further to say that she was unfaithful to him. To make it worse, they say that I was not my dad's real child. As a result of all these accusations and allegations, they came and took everything that had been left behind by our father. At one point, they even attempted to chase us out of the house. And if it had not been for the village head, we would have been left on the streets. My elder sister, the firstborn, was unable to finish school due to lack of financial support, because for mom it was now a burden. She was failing to carry on despite all her efforts. My sister decided it would be best if she stayed home and helped mom look after the family. Tendai, that's my elder sister, would go out in the morning, sometimes without saying a word to anyone, and not be heard from for hours. She would come back late afternoon with some goodies for us. With the excitement that we had, no one would even bother to ask how she got them. Not even mom would ask. She would just say her thank you and take the groceries inside the house. The second born child, Mimbai, was doing her Form 2 when she decided to drop out, claiming that it was too difficult for her. I was in grade 6 at that time. My mom never argued with her on the matter because she looked at her performance in school over the years and she was convinced that staying home was best for her. It meant that mom now had to focus on raising fees for just one child, so it was a blessing in disguise. Being the only child in the family who was now going to school came with its disadvantages and advantages. The good thing that came out of it was that I knew my mom and my older sister had less pressure when it came to raising money for fees and other essentials for school. The disadvantage of it, though, was that all eyes were on me, and so was the pressure. So one way or the other, I had to make sure I passed. By the grace of God, I passed my final year in primary with 7 units, and this meant I qualified to get into any high school I wanted. However, due to financial restrictions though, I could not get into any of the fancy schools that my classmates were going to. I ended up going to the high school that was close to home because that was the one we could afford. I can still remember my sister's words the day before I started my first year in high school. She called me for a sit down and said to me, Nakai, my sister, as you have seen for yourself, life has not been easy for this family. But I want you to know that we all believe in you. You have proven beyond any reasonable doubt how determined you are when it comes to your schoolwork. I will do my part in making sure you finish school all the way to university, and we both know Mom will do all she can, but at the end of the day, it comes back to you. You have to play your part to get to where you want to go. We love you. These words stuck with me as I left for school the next day, and they would always come back to me every time I felt like giving up or when things seemed to not go the way I wanted. Thankfully, I managed to do well throughout high school, up to Form 4, obtaining 9 passes and 1 fail in the process. To many people, my results were perfect, and a lot of people were happy for me. But for some reason, I felt like I had failed because my goal was to get full distinctions. In life, you don't always get what you want, but the little that you get can and will do great things for you if you use it well. The poor village girl who had very little to brag about had just obtained the highest score in her school and the 3rd highest in the whole district. By this time, my older sister was now married with a family of her own to take care of. Like my late father, her husband was also just a local farmer who barely finished school. The only reason they ended up married was because they got a little too excited as boyfriend and girlfriend, which resulted in pregnancy. The fact that my sister was now married meant that my chances of going for my advanced level, the last 2 years of high school, were slowly fading away because getting money for my school fees was going to be a bit harder this time. I remember the day that I went to visit my sister at her house to tell her that I was thinking of dropping out of school and looking for a basic thing to do while looking after our poor mother. Even though she always knew that my going back to school was almost impossible due to financial limitations, she still took the bold step of encouraging me not to give up on that dream of going to the university. I listened to her and went back home. One day, as we were just sitting outside with my mom, we saw a car driving into our yard and parking right in front of us. It was my high school headmaster. It turns out the school board had been discussing ways to help me out and had concluded that I deserved a scholarship of some sort, courtesy of the school. The news came as a shock to all of us, and a few days after that, I was back in school, studying for my advanced level certificate. I chose to do commercials, mathematics, accounting, business studies, and economics, because these were always my favorites. At the end, I came out with 17 points. And the next stop was the university. This was my journey from primary to high school. Now I managed to get a place at the Midland State University, where I later became known as the Campus Diamond, the queen of the campus.